Boom, boom, boom. Give everybody just a second. Come on into the stream. Get everything up and going. We have green check marks across the board on YouTube, on Twitch, over on X. And let's never forget the all wonderful Empower Facebook. Everybody come on in. It's Wednesday night. I know it's been just a little bit, Thomas Hall, just a little bit. When I say it's been a little bit, I'm thinking 3 weeks since the original MHI duo of Thomas Hall and yours truly have been on air together. It's been a long 3 weeks. Training camp is right around the corner. I'm ever so grateful to MHH and all of our partners on the mic who have stepped in and filled in during some of our absences, namely me. But Thomas Hall, what's up? How we doing?
Doing good, man. It's great to have you back. It's great to be able to talk football with you again. I know you've been busy and a lot going on, so it's I'm happy to have you back, man.
Thanks, man. We got a lot to get into. Chad and I had a dynamite show last week. Happy belated birthday to Thomas Hall. We're very into celebrating momentous occasions, anniversaries, birthdays, promotions. Let us know and we will give you a shout out because that is what we do here on Wednesday nights on MHI, where you can catch us every 6 p.m. Mountain, rocking with you guys and the rest of Broncos country. Yeah, Tom, I mentioned it. Training camp is right around the corner. As you know, 13 open practices. And I want to know who's going to be out there at training camp this year. What are you looking forward to seeing, Broncos country? Let us know in the chat. Can't wait to hear from you guys and give you a shout out. So let's get into the chat. One of our guys coming in early. What's up, Ernie? Haven't seen you in a bit, man. Hopefully you are doing well. Go Broncos country. Only Broncos country. That's the only thing that Ernie Mays wants to represent, just like our guy David Yonkin is always representing the orange and blue. Listen, guys, the disrespect that PFF gives our secondary and PS2 sounds like people have no clue about football. Tom, it sounds like the offseason.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty bad to rank the defensive player of the year, the reigning defensive player of the year, as the number 2 cornerback, and then to take one of the best secondaries who improved incredibly to rank them low compared to other secondaries that aren't as good. I don't get it. I mean, perhaps it's to generate some sort of buzz or excitement to get people to talk about their writing and their site or everything. That's fine. But when you're wrong, and they're just flat out wrong.
I want to channel my inner Coach Prime if I could for just a second. And yes, I have all my toes. It's a bunch of bull jive, as Coach Prime would say. All right. Like it's unbelievable. Extra. Read all about it over at milehighhuddle.com. Eric Trickle's got the article up right now. The Broncos secondary received a questionable 2025 ranking via PFF. Eric's a lot nicer than me. I'd have been cursing out there. Chad would have had to edit the whole dang thing. We actually got into it last week, Chad and I, about PFF and some of the guys, namely Broncos country, saying, what's up with all the disrespect? And that's what David's getting at here. And Tom, I know you're a forever fan of PFF, and they just stoke your fire. They're the one and only for you. But no, it's just context is everything. It's one thing that we've agreed on since day one. It's one of the things why this show was so fun to go back and forth with each other, because we hit it with facts, not so much opinions. We come at each other with different angles, and we bring the resources and the research to back it up. PFF, man, you can pick a bone with these guys all day, every day. It's great when your guys are in the front of the pack. It's tough when they're in the back. The good thing here, David, in Broncos country, at least for me, I don't think Pat Surtain and the Broncos secondary care about what PFF thinks. I'm sure it bothers them a little bit. I'm sure they're talking about it or bad tweeting about it or whatever they got to do in the group chat. But, Tom, I don't think the Broncos are losing any sleep, considering they're coming with a vengeance in 2025. They're looking for something bigger, something more aggressive, something more efficient.
Yeah, I don't think they're concerned about PFF grades, maybe a little bit just because they kind of get irked by it, but they have bigger goals, and I think they realize it too. I mean, if your analytics don't match what people are seeing on the field, then you need to alter however you're doing those analytics. That's my philosophy, but like you said, they've got bigger goals. Pat Surtain came out and said, yeah, it's nice to win the defensive player of the year and all pro and all that. His goal is to win the Super Bowl. And I think this entire team has that same goal. And I think that they feel like they are in that Super Bowl window because, one, they overachieved last year. That gave them a lot of confidence going into this year with an improved team and a more experienced team than last year. So they should be looking for a lot more than just some individual awards and a bounce in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, speaking of individual awards, I mean, let's give the proverbial middle finger to PFF on this show, right? That ranking. This one's for you, boys. One of those sort of things. I mean, on the other side of that, you can read about it. Extra, read all about it over at milehighhuddle.com. Chad Jensen's got an article up that suggests Broncos PS2. Well, he just got nominated for Best NFL Player 2025 ESPY. So with some of the disrespect, it's like, let's toss that aside. PS2, hopefully he continues to stack that hardware. Listen, fellas, guys, gals, whoever, I would tell you, instead of subscribing to PFF and spending all your money on opinions, why don't you head on over to gridironintelligence.com, power your football IQ today. This is a very exciting project that Tom has been working on for years. We can't wait to start using and utilizing this tool this season. I encourage everybody, head on over to gridironintelligence.com, sign up today.
Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, it's happening. I'm making the moves now to get that data logged, and we're going to have grades, analytical grades. It's not going to be based on what I think. The numbers are going to speak to them for themselves, and they're going to be as accurate as we can make them. So it's an exciting time, and I can't be happier with the support I received from everyone about the Gridiron Intelligence. So thank you so much.
Are they going to be as accurate as my guy David with 13-4? Good evening, Broncos country. 13-4. What's up, David? Thinking of you, man. Thoughts and prayers. Hopefully you are doing well, bouncing back strong. We are thinking of you here on Wednesday nights MHI, but of course, every show, every single day, everybody's thinking and praying for you, big dog. So heal up. 13-4, Tom. Holy cow. That's best record. That's PS2, possibly an MVP. Bo Nix, what kind of season did he have with 13-4? Sean Payton, coach of the year. I mean, what else could come with 13-4?
At 13-4, they're Super Bowl favorites, probably, or at least in the top couple. I mean, they may not have the best record at 13-4, but I would imagine it's the best record in the AFC at 13-4. And
best record in the league, baby.
Yeah, and if the ball bounces their way a couple times, they could get to 13-4. I'm actually working on an article. It's based on play by yards per play. There's a very key indicator in there that I'm writing up, and I think that there's a couple games in there that if the ball bounces their way, they can get to 12 or even 13 wins.
What's up to our guy, Daniel Berry Sports? What's up, Roy Osborne? Everybody watching over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X, wherever you're catching us, we really appreciate y'all. It's so funny getting into the comments here because we got our guy, Donald Wilson, piling on the PFF hate because we can't stand them, right? Good evening, everyone. PFF has never considered the Broncos very highly. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's got their biases, and for whatever reason, man, the Broncos just tend to end up at the bottom of the barrel in a lot of things for PFF. I know that they'll get some good grades just like they did last year too. It's cool when you look at resources and you can see how many are out there, right? Because they almost feel limitless, and that's, you would think, would be a good thing, right? With, oh, look at all the abundance of resources. Not so fast. Many of them are copying things. Other people just don't know what the hell they're talking about. Do you want it to have context? Do you want it to have substance? Or do you want to sit on opinion and how we're feeling? Two different conversations, and we can have both of them. But when it comes to PFF and some of these stats, man, it's the offseason, guys, girls, whatever I got to say. It's shortly coming to an end. These sorts of rankings, these sorts of lists. I'm so tired of seeing guys on lists. And where do you rank guys? Because rankings mean nothing at the end of the regular season. They absolutely mean nothing in the playoffs. And last I checked, many people forget who that runner-up in the Super Bowl was, the loser. Nobody remembers them, only the winners. There's only one team, one name etched into history. And if you're the Denver Broncos, you got to be coming for that. I mean, Marvin Mims talked about it over at milehighhuddle.com. Zach Kelberman's got an article up. It's the subject of this very show, saying, look, last year people had us ranked at the bottom the worst team in the league. And what do? We make it into the AFC wildcard playoffs. And that's not enough. We believe he's channeling his Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. We believe. It's just, I love it. And I don't think it's all just rah-rah Tim Tebow speech. I think this team has bought into Sean Payton, what he's selling, and this is truly how Bo goes.
How could they not believe it, really? If you look at what happened last year, they got in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback and some a very young team. You had a rookie wide receiver that played heavily. I mean, you had a lot of inexperience, I would say, on that team, and they played really well for what they had. Now they're a year in. Bo Nix is going to be even better. Devon Villay is going to be even better. But they improved their team where they really needed to improve their team. I wrote something about Evan Ingram. He might end up being the best pickup of all of the free agents based on what he can do on third down compared to what the tight end group for all of Broncos tight ends last year. It's a huge stark difference, a 246% increase in getting third downs by just having Evan Ingram on your team. So with Marvin Mims coming out and saying that, it's not rah-rah. They actually believe it, and they should, because we should be believing it as Broncos fans as well, based on what they did this offseason, based on what they did last year, and based on that growth that you're going to see from these players that were young and inexperienced and played quite well.
Testify, Thomas Hall. I absolutely love it. It's MHI, Thomas Hall, Luke Patterson. We're back together, and it feels so good here on Wednesday nights where we rock with Broncos country. Let us know. What are you expecting out of training camp? What are you expecting for the regular season? We're here for it all. We can go through the schedule. We can go through some contracts. We could go through some risers, some fallers. We could talk rankings, lists. We are here for you tonight. This Wednesday. Let us know what you want to talk about. Here's the thing. You started talking about some second-year players, right? And with second-year players, the term that always comes up is what? The sophomore slump. Which guy is going to have a sophomore slump? And when I look at some of these sophomores, I'm going to give you 3 names, Tom, and I want you to tell me who is going to have the sophomore slump. All 3 of these guys, their positions, the guys ahead of them on the depth chart, there's some contract questions there. So maybe it would behoove oneself to especially not have a sophomore slump at these positions. You brought it up. Devon Villay, wide receiver. He's really the only other X on this team other than Cortland Sutton, and he needs to get in the weight room. I hope he's been getting better. Troy Franklin, he's there as well. Route running, okay. How well are you going to be in the playbook? How consistent can you be? You fell off. You went missing for a long part of the season last year. Troy Franklin, Devon Villay, they're your wideouts. Pass rushers. I know you love pass rushers. How about my guy, Jonah Ellis? Jonah Ellis had a fantastic rookie season for what, a 7th-round pick out of Utah? I mean, come on now. I absolutely love it. Out of those 3 players, Troy Franklin, Devon Villay, and Jonah Ellis, who do you expect to have a sophomore slump in 2025, or who is most probable?
Well, I mean, you can't really have a slump if you didn't play very good. So it kind of puts Troy Franklin out of the
I knew
mix.
You were going to say it, right? He's the only one option there, right? Because the bar was so low.
I would say if anyone's going to, it's going to be Villay, not because he's not a good player and not improved, but they went out and got Pat Bryant, who they really love, and they want to get him in the mix. So it's going to probably take some snaps from Villay a little bit. I think you've got Marvin Mims. They figured out how to use him a little bit more. So there's not going to be as many balls to throw around. So it will look like a sophomore slump statistically, even though he's probably a better player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I think Jonah Ellis, he wants to eat right now. He wants to see what the future holds for him, potentially in another team in a couple of years. I mean, you can't pay everybody. They got Jonathan Cooper, team-friendly contract. What are you going to do with Nick Bonito? That's a debate Chad and I had a little bit. We were pretty much on the same page. I know him and Zach fight like cats and dogs, usually like you and I do, right? On this, Nick Bonito's your guy, right? And I think Chad and I are yearning to see just a little bit more. We can get into that and more. But before we do, let's catch up to some of our support over on Facebook. I see you, Phil, very, very active in the chat. Luke, did you move? I'm in the process of moving. I am in parts unknown, all right? And I will let everybody know when we get settled and we get landed. But yeah, my family, we've been uprooted for a few weeks trying to figure out some new strategies. All good things. But yeah, we'll let you know soon. I will stick with gridiron intelligence for my stats. There's another one to PFF from Phil. And I absolutely
Thank you, Phil.
Phil. On Facebook, me too. And here's a name that we haven't heard in a very long time. I got to rap with him just a little bit last week, but our guy, Michael Ronquillo, the Ronk, I guess is what Chad and Zach refer to him as. I learned that last week with Chad. The Ronk is in the house. Good evening, Thomas and Luke on the Mile High Insiders. You gotta go, Bo Broncos. Don't know if you saw this, Tom. While everybody else is busy looking at lists and rankings and PFF giving the Broncos the middle finger, I like to look for these little narrative stories that mean absolutely nothing, but they're trivial and they make me smile. I'm on Instagram, FaceSpace, whatever the hell it's called, and I'm scrolling along and I see a snapshot of a waitress in this story about one Broncos quarterback, Bo Nix. Bo Nix apparently went in, had lunch, dinner, something, $61.30. That's his balance at the restaurant. Tips $900 to this young lady and says, quote, "This is God's money. He gave it to us so we could give it to you. God bless." End quote from one Bo Nix. Quiet. Didn't post it on his social media. I don't think she completely knew who he was until later on, but a cool little anecdote from your newest Broncos quarterback who's looking to dominate on the field. He may be giving $900 away to waitresses and waiters out there. He's not going to be giving the football away coming 2025.
Yeah, and it just tells you what kind of person he is, right? He's a good person, means he's probably going in there and doing his job to the best of his ability because he has that mentality. So both of those things are amazing. But yeah, to see that happen, it's quite, and it's, it's not a, hey, look what I did, which makes it even better. When you're giving charity, it should be about giving charity, not, promoting stuff. That's why I hate it when these businesses use their charitable contributions to drum up more business. It's like, you should just be giving money away.
Like Russell Wilson. Like Russell Wilson, we get former Broncos quarterback. We go one Broncos quarterback to the other, right? You bring up a good point, Tom. I mean, there's a rich history. I mean, quite literally rich with the Denver Broncos quarterbacks, but they're around town, man. I mean, you still find how many John Elway stories do fans have of running into the Duke all over town? Gary Kubiak still has stories. I have guys and gals telling me, I ran into Gary at this bar or this restaurant, or I interacted with him at Costco, or, one of those sorts. It happens. These guys are out and about. They're around town. It behooves oneself to know your community, know your fan base. It's cool that Bo seems to have his heart in the right place, right? We're not going down any wormholes of religion or anything like that here. We're just acknowledging what seems to be a really cool and good deed from the Broncos quarterback. Does it, like I said, does it have any impact on how he's going to do in 2025? Absolutely not. But it's really cool to see that the Broncos aren't in the news, knock on wood, for any of the bad stuff. Nobody's being arrested. Nobody's being ticketed. Nobody's breaking any rules. None of that stuff is happening. Guys tend to be locked in, and camp hasn't even started yet, Tom, for the Denver Broncos. It hasn't even started. The rookies report, what's that? Wednesday, July 16th. How about that? That'll be a busy MHI. It's right around the corner, man. I mean, It is time to get rocking and rolling. I can't wait to see what 2025 brings.
Yeah, I'm excited for the the season that's coming up, and you're right. It seems like everybody's going about their business. They're not off fooling around. Obviously, you need to have some fun and do what you need to do on the off season to kind of get yourself reinvigorated for the upcoming season. But within reason, it seems like most people are doing what they need to do to get this team better. I think they got a team mentality. It seems like nobody's out there doing something for themselves. They're out there working hard for the team and staying out of trouble. That's all for the team. So I'm pretty excited about the upcoming season. I really want to see how training camp goes. I really want to see how preseason goes, just to judge how some of these new players are going to kind of fit in, because we do need to see some of these free agent pickups to see how they're going to fit into this team and what they're going to do.
100%. The rookies too. I think last year it was pretty much the expectation we have to lean on the rookies because of the contract situation, because of the state of the franchise, the state of the union, if you will, for Denver. It's a little different this year than it was last year when you look at some things, when you look at expectations, when you look at the roster, when you look at the numbers, when you look at the contracts. And speaking of looking at the numbers and the contracts, always keeping us honest on our team. Kathy coming in. Hey guys, Jonah Ellis was a 3rd-round pick. Tom was too kind to correct me, or I got one by him. But thank you very much. A little bit of housekeeping on my end. Yeah, man, I was super pumped to watch Jonah Ellis play last year. Has a lot of work to do. I can't wait to see what kind of jump he makes. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a sophomore slump, but that pass rushing room, man, it's pretty competitive, I would imagine, with one Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, and then you got big cat Zach Allen. What's going on with him, man, and interior defensive line? So it's pretty nasty on that side of the ball. I can only imagine what the expectations are for a second-year guy. Let's get into some of the chat here. We're getting active here on a Wednesday night. Let us know what you want to see. This guy's causing trouble. I love it because I'm a troublemaker too. Keith Brugman, Luka Thomas, what is up? What sophomore running back doesn't have a slump? Interesting. I'd have to
maybe Blake Watson because he's the only one, I think.
Yeah, and Blake Watson, huh? Yeah, the running back room, man, that's going to be so interesting to see how things shake out. I don't know that we're going to get a good sense of who the starter is truly going to be until the end of the preseason. We know I talked to Chad last week. You can see our little clip floating around over on social media right now. Sean likes vet days. He likes vet days. I wonder what he's going to do when it comes to his veteran players, especially on the offense. I talked about Cortland Sutton, Pat Bryant. Is Pat Bryant going to get some expectations with the number ones as soon as Cortland gets a vet day? What's the running back position look like? Everybody thinks RJ Harvey is for the taking. Audric Estime, where are you going to shake out? You talk about the free agents and the running backs. I mean, this team went and doubled down on a lot of positions, and I think they really needed to. I think there are more open competitions than people realize, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be tough to tell how Sean wants to execute this offense at the beginning of camp. He likes to keep those cards up here and make us all look over here so we don't truly watch what coach is doing here.
Not only is it there's some open positions, there are some positions that they're going to be watching very closely to determine whether or not they're going to give a contract to some of their players. For example, if Pat Bryant comes out and just is everything that people say he is, coaches say he is, they may not extend a contract to Cortland Sutton. Same thing with Jonathan Franklin Myers. If Savion Jones comes out and he looks like he could be that future, in place of Jonathan Franklin Myers, they may wait on that contract as well. So I think there's a couple things going on. You got to earn your spot, and you better watch out because someone's coming for your future spot as well.
Yeah, where are you at with Cortland Sutton? Let's get into it. Well, let's shelf that for just a second. Let's say what's up to WJB, William James Baker, Luke and Tom. Good day from Perth, Australia. Hope you guys are well. And what is up, Broncos country? Do you see anything changes or any big changes happening between now and the start of the season in regards to trades and or signings? I hate to say it. I really do. But it's growing on me. The idea of Von Miller coming back to the Denver Broncos. I don't know how realistic it is. You look at the free agency list. We just talked about the pass rushers. I think it would be a cool story. I don't think the Broncos need Von. I think Von would need the Broncos a lot more. But that makes sense to me when I look at the rest of the free agents that are looking out here. When you're looking at the positional rooms of need, if you will, it's pretty full. And you've got a lot of bodies, and there's going to be a lot of guys that Sean's going to have to cut to get to that final roster here towards the end of August. I don't know, Tom. I don't see any big blockbusters happening right now. I could be mistaken. I have no clue what Sean Payton wants to do in free agency, the NFL draft. Right when you think you got the guy figured out, he does a 180.
Yeah, I think there's two spots that you could potentially look for them to sign somebody else or maybe even try to trade based on play coming out of training camp. Number one, you got your center, Luke Wattenberg. If he doesn't seem like he's improving, they may want to upgrade that. I doubt that, but it's possible. The other position is inside linebacker. If Singleton is not back to where he was with his knee injury, and Drew Sanders doesn't step up and be able to take his spot, they may be looking to get another inside linebacker to pair with Dre Greenlaw. Those are the two that I see, from the outside looking in, that could be possible, kind of later in the offseason or in the training camp signings or trades if they feel like it's going to help the team. But right now, from what I'm seeing, it looks like they're pretty happy with their makeup of their team.
Maybe they bring in like a Shane Lemieux, right? Former New Orleans Saints center for competition. I don't know, man. I mean, you know how I feel about the center position. I think it's lacking in a big way, but the Broncos are set. At least they appear to be set. I don't know. Maybe there's a big training camp beef and a disgruntled player wants out. Keep your eye on Cincinnati. It seems like they don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to taking care of their guys, their players, their coaches. It's only a matter of time before, guys, there's a mass exodus, I feel, out of Cincinnati. I'm not hearing anything. I don't have any like Cincinnati hookups or anything like that. It just you look around the league, and if you're a member of Broncos country, if you're a Broncos fan, if you have any sort of orange and blue in your life, you should feel extremely grateful that the Walton Penner ownership group is here controlling your franchise, because this is how a professional team is ran. This is how a sports franchise with historic value in the NFL should be looked at. And to see this quick turnaround coming from the shaky transition that was the trust of the late great Pat Bowlen over to finally having concrete owners who are active in the community, who support high school athletes, who are constantly making sure their guys and gals have the best equipment and resources that they need. I think that's the reason the Broncos are where they are right now. The Walton Penner ownership group decided to give up the world to go get Sean Payton. Not really, but it was a haul, right? Draft picks, Chubb, we go through all that. Paid him a king's ransom to be here. And look, the results are starting to happen. With a few bumps in the road, but thank God for the Walton Penner ownership group. You have to feel that Mr. Bowlen is looking down on his team with a little bit of a smile.
Yeah, and it all kind of came together, right? They got the ownership group together. They got a new coach, and they got a quarterback, and that's what you need to win. If you look back in the early 80s, that's what the Broncos needed to really kind of become that contender. They got a new owner who loved the team, did what was necessary. They brought in Dan Reeves, and then they got John Elway, all kind of around the same time. It wasn't quite in that order, but they got them all together. And then the next thing you know, they're Super Bowl contenders and go to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and then end up down the road winning a couple. But that kind of kicked off that long reign of dominance. So hopefully this similar thing can happen when you got all those 3 things that come together well. And I really am impressed with the group that is running this team. I'm impressed. I was worried at first. I have no worries anymore. They're doing it the right way.
I don't know. Todd and I are pretty worried about you. Are you okay? What's up? Is it just me, or is it strange to see Thomas with no facial? Yeah, Tom, what's going on? What's this clean shaven, handsome gentleman look? Were you feeling good on your birthday? We go out to the club, we mix it up. What we doing, Tom? I'm gone for 3 weeks, and now here we are looking great.
I'm a CEO now, so I got to be clean shaven. No, I just got tired of it. I'm actually just starting to grow it back, so I'm growing it back, but I just got tired of it, so I thought I'd shave it. And just like my hair, I let my hair grow, and I got tired of it, and I cut it. So, I guess I'm
let it go, bro.
Yeah.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
I had it was pretty long there for a while, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I just felt like it, but my wife wants me to grow it back too. She likes the beard, so I've decided to grow it back just because I got to change it up.
The hair and the beard last year were for the ultimate Halloween costume.
That's true.
A surprise. And you went as Qui-Gon, right? We're the biggest Star Wars nerds in MHH. That's why we have this show on primetime Wednesday nights, so we can talk about the Broncos and Star Wars, of course. And no, that was great, man. That was a commitment. I had a buddy who did that for Bob Ross, man. Grew out his fro. in his beard a little bit, but the fro had to go for a long time in order to make that happen. And it was awesome, man. It was epic. Definitely takes commitment there. No, it's going to be Jesus, Todd. Todd's asking me if I'm a hippie. Well, I'm a Colorado native, I guess. So, no, I definitely don't have the thinking of the hippies, but some pretty good music. I'll tell you that, Todd. Some pretty good music. William Cat. Now we've got all the fellas talking about our grooming. Where are our sponsors when we need a moment like this? My hair is getting longer than everybody else's. No beard, long hair is troublesome enough. That's what we do. Grooming techniques with Luke and Tom here on MHI every Wednesday night. Right. Mountain. No, you talked about free agent
grooming techniques.
You talked about free agent pickups, man, and you're getting into some significant territory when you talk about the upgrade at tight end. All right. I mean, Evan Ingram, you can read about it over at milehighhuddle.com. Gridiron Intelligence provides the content, I might add. They seem to know what they're doing over there. So go take a peek at that article. Tom's got it running right now. Let's talk about the defense, man. I know everybody's still really high on J.K. Dobbins, newest running back in town, tight end Evan Ingram. Hottest thing for Bo Nix right now, right? We're wondering what's going to happen with the wide receivers. Sean loves the Joker. Apparently, that's Evan Ingram. Joker wears number 1, apparently. I don't know. Weird stuff is happening over there in Denver. But what about the defense, man? Because that is something that you and we absolutely love. Maybe we get a little too defensive on this show, if you will. But Dre Greenlaw, Tom, I'm in love with the move. I know there's a lot of concern. I feel like it is high risk, high reward bringing in this banged up San Francisco 49er.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I love the pickup. He is exactly what this team needs at inside linebacker. Someone who can be an enforcer, a good tackler, good at the run defense, and what we've seen that has been missing from the Denver Broncos is ability to cover a tight end. Dre Greenlaw can do all of that. So as long as he can stay healthy, that's a huge pickup. And when you look across this defense, it was great last year. Great defense. I mean, not historically great, but a really good defense that just got much better. I'm not saying a little bit better. I think they got quite a bit better with their pickups and the growth that you're going to see from some of these players who were still young that were coming into their prime, and some rookies who played a lot that are also going to have more experience. So I think the defense got a lot better, even though they were pretty darn good last year.
It's going to be interesting with Dre Greenlaw because everybody knows about the Achilles tear in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, right? Made him leave the game, was currently recovering. Prior to that, he had an Achilles tendonitis. Well, what happens in Denver? He signs with the Broncos, then he suffers a quad injury while working out, all right? It's going to be interesting to see how his workload is managed, but for me, Dre Greenlaw is going to be out there, man. He's an absolute dog. I think he's tough as nails. If he's able to, he will be out there, and maybe you see some forced vet days, but you saw the Broncos defense run absolutely out of gas in Buffalo against the Bills. Again, 2 different tiers of teams. The Broncos should not have won that game, and they definitely didn't. If we go back and we look at it, we all try to bring up the Broncos making the playoffs as often as we can. We don't want to talk about what the score of the result was of the Bills and the Broncos in that wild card hunt, if you will, up there in Buffalo. It was nasty, man. The offense was inept. The defense ran out of gas, and they were missing a guy with some heart, a guy with some soul. And you can point to Pat Surtain all you want. You cannot be the only leader on the team as a cornerback. D-line, edge rushers, sign me up. What Vaughn did is historic. He is etched into Super Bowl history, MVP history, Broncos history. This team has needed a middle linebacker with some attitude, with some nasty, with some funk. And you can't tell me that y'all forgot about Dre. This is him, man. For me, this is the closest thing you get to Al Smoke Dog Wilson. I believe in Dre Greenlaw that much. I think he's got a lot of vintage throwback, aggressive style to his game. If you liked watching the 90s, if you liked watching the early 2000s, I wasn't around for a lot of the 80s, but I know they were dirt nasty. That's this guy, Dre Greenlaw. If he's healthy, if he's out there, he's going to be the reason why guys are fighting in training camp.
Well, and it helps solve one of the problems. And if there's a weakness on this defense, I mean, there might be a couple weaknesses, but if you saw that playoff game, the Bills could run at will against the Broncos. Even early on, it wasn't just that they gassed. They were running all over them. I think they had 120 yards on the ground before the first half was over. And that's the problem. But they hopefully have addressed that with Drake Greenlaw. The one part that I still worry a little bit about is that defensive line. They don't have that. I know I like DJ Jones, but they don't have the.
No, you don't.
I do, but he's
don't.
not. He's not that pure run stuffer that maybe he was, but he's a little bit older now. I was hoping they could get that big kind of run stuffing middle guy that can really take up space and really play that run a little bit better. Maybe someone steps up. Maybe it's Roach. Maybe it's Wazirike, somebody. But
it's not a Woozer.
You keep saying that, and I keep telling you this is his year, man. He's gonna do it.
Yeah,
that's their weakness.
This is his year to stay off of FanDuel. Maybe that guy, like a Wuzurike, living on borrowed time, my friend. Borrowed time. You're right, though. I'll say this. I mean, you would hope for there to be some sort of improvement in what's the farm system look like for the interior D line. I think that's what you're really getting at, and you're onto something here, because a lot like the middle linebacker position, it tends to never be addressed in the draft and truly developed into a high starter that you can pay that gets Pro Bowls, all pros, and a fat contract. That doesn't really happen in the interior D line for whatever reason for the Denver Broncos. What about Matt Henningsen? What's going on with him? When's he going to come along? I'm talking about sophomore slumps. What about the guys who've been around for a little bit, 3 years in, right? I don't know what, maybe I'm wrong on that, but again, the interior defensive line, I would have expected there to be a little bit of a bigger push in the draft to make that a little bit of a priority. Maybe the cat out of LSU because he has familiarity with the, Broncos D-line coach, the edge rushers coach. He was at LSU as well. Perhaps. I'm not willing to bank on Savion Jones being the missing link if something happens to Zach Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think they've got a great pass rushing interior defensive line. If Savion Jones slides in and can be that interior pass rusher that I think he can be, I think their interior pass rush is going to be amazing. But they have to stop the run is the problem. Yeah. And when they were at the peak, they need to be able to stop the run a little bit more. I mean, I know they did a pretty good job, but it really came out in the Buffalo Bills game where they just they could do whatever they wanted on the ground.
At the worst time, right? Like you want to be stopping it towards the end of the year. The defense they seem battle worn, even though they were the strength of the team. I mean, they were exhausted, and it's not like they didn't want to play. It's not like they quit or anything like that. But I'll be damned, Tom. You're right. They were outmatched. And Ralph Bracegirdle coming in, very patient over on Facebook. What up, Ralph? Love the Mark Schlereth 69 jersey. Denver Radio is putting an over-under on J.K. Dobbins on how many games he plays at 10. Would you take the over or the under? Depends who you're listening to, Ralph. There's a lot of funky characters out there on Denver Radio. We've all experienced our time on Denver Radio, Tom, you and I, and we've got some of our preferences, and we've got our friends, we've got our enemies, if you will. I think it's interesting, J.K. Dobbins and the over-under at 10. This makes me feel like I know who was talking about this because I won't say he's a buddy. He's an acquaintance, and he likes to gamble a lot. So I think I know what show this was coming from, over and unders. J.K. Dobbins is going to be another one of those guys for me. I want him towards the end of the season to be healthy, Tom. I need veteran leadership and veteran experience. Maybe this is why you lean on RJ Harvey. This is why you lean on Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin for a big portion of training camp, for a huge portion of the first half of your season, and just hope that your veterans are healthy, they're able, and they're willing to get rocking and rolling in the cold months come the playoff stretch.
Yeah, and I said this, I don't know, maybe it was the last time we were together. It seems like forever ago when we were on the show, but I said that's why I thought RJ Harvey was going to be the number one back. Not necessarily because he's better than J.K. Dobbins, but they're going to want to keep him as healthy as possible. They don't want him to be the workhorse. They're going to rely on their young, new legs, strong leg in Harvey.
Quadzilla legs. Are those legs?
Yeah.
Lord, dude. Yeah. What's the bodybuilder's name? And I think it's Ronnie Coleman, right? Ronnie Coleman's he's not doing well right now. I saw, thoughts and prayers to Ronnie Coleman out there. But like, remember that guy's quads and like all his muscle. Then you see RJ Harvey, and you're just like, Good Lord, Central Florida, what are they feeding you guys in Central Florida? Because the guy looks massive. I'm happy to see it. You know, I'm not going to say a little guy. He's stout,
Sure.
right? I wonder about that. Cecil Lammy has come on, good friend of the show and of ours, has come on and said, look, he can camouflage into the offensive line particularly well. I like to hear that, but RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, Jaleel McLaughlin, Andrew Estime, they're only as good as Sean Payton allows them to be. Is Sean going to be wanting to run the ball more this season, Tom? He's going to talk about it all summer. He's going to talk about it. And I would love if somebody out there, because it can't be me, right? They don't like me asking questions out there. Coach, are you more committed to running the ball this year? And if so, will you need a reminder on your play sheet?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody remembers that, and all the talk. I got to be better. I got to call the plays better. Come on, Coach. You got a brand new toy, a brand new tight end in Ingram. Are you just going to abandon the run game altogether because you got your joker, or are you truly going to try to make things balanced?
Well, let's hope he makes things balanced, because it's definitely going to help the offense. It's definitely going to help Bo Nix have a better, more successful season, because he's going to have more quality reps, in my opinion, when you've got a better running game to shorten those chains, be a little bit more unpredictable in the red zone when you've got a good running game. So hopefully he can do that, and I hope he really does kind of stick to that philosophy that I think he's going to do, which is keep J.K. Dobbins as fresh as he can, be that third down guy, spell the Harvey there, and keep him fresh. So hopefully he can do that. And I think he wants to, but he really likes to throw the ball. So I'll believe it when I see it, I guess I should say.
Yeah, maybe having a second round running back in RJ Harvey. Granted, you traded down twice, a million times to go get him, RJ. Like, maybe you commit yourself a little bit more to it that way. But then again, he's on a rookie contract. Evan Ingram is not. I mean, it's so hard to play devil's advocate. Donald Wilson Jr. weighing back in. What about our guy, number 1 overall pick in this year's draft for your Broncos, number 20, Jahdae Baron, cornerback out of Texas. He's a solid addition. How about this for a hot take, man? I think Jahdae Baron, his coming of age as a rookie, at least in training camp, that moment's going to happen. Not on Back Together weekend, Saturday, July 26th. It's going to happen against the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday, August 14th. Joint practice. I think you're going to see this guy. He's going to have all the tells from his teammates. He's going to be locked in to how the Broncos wide receivers are running their routes, how Sean is calling the scout plays. Whatever they got to do, he's going to be locked in. The second he sees an Arizona Cardinal, I think we're going to really see what Jahdae Baron's made of. And I think it's going to look really, really good, at least in that joint practice, at least that preseason game. What he looks like in the regular season, I don't know, man. I'm excited that he is in the secondary. Again, PFF dogging the reigning defensive player of the year, and the Broncos double down, get themselves another ace in the hole, hopefully, if you will, in Jahdae Baron. Not saying he's going to be Pat Surtain. My biggest beef with Jahdae Baron, you ready for it, Tom? Broncos country, You ready? His jersey number 12 for a cornerback? I don't know. Am I mistaken here? I'm looking at NFLshop.com. Let me know what you think, Broncos country. Number 12, Jahdae Baron jersey. Are we feeling it?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't really care anymore. Once they decided to just give them whatever number they want by position, I stopped caring about what number that any player gets. I don't know why.
It doesn't make you a little, it doesn't look right seeing a number 12 at corner.
None of them look right anymore. None of them look right anymore because they can have whatever number they want. So I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. But it is an odd number to have as a defensive back. But
Paxton Lynch's number? Paxton Lynch's number. That's where we're at.
Well, hopefully he makes that a historic number. That's all what you can hope for is number 12.
Hopefully he doesn't play Xbox.
Yeah. Hopefully he actually watches film and actually tries to go out and get better. Ralph, I don't know. That's a great question. Ralph Bracegirdle coming back in. Is that number final? I don't know. Maybe it won't be. Maybe there'll be some changes. But I do have to get to this because I know you really, really wanted to talk about this, Ralph. My final numbers in that top 100 list, you were not happy that I had Champ Bailey above at number 4 and Von Miller at number 5. He gave me a ration of it on Facebook and wanted to talk to you about it here.
Hang on. So what was, explain the beef again? You had who ranked where?
So Champ Bailey was ranked number 4 and Von Miller was number 5. And Ralph thinks that it should be switched because, Super Bowl MVP. I totally get it. My reasoning for that, Ralph, this is why. It's not just how good of a player they are or just how important they were to the Broncos. It's a mix of both. I think important scale, they both were very important to the Broncos. I give the edge to Von Miller. But the reason why I had Champ Bailey ahead is because when I look at Von Miller, you can argue he's probably a top 5 edge rusher. You can make that argument. You can make the argument that Champ Bailey is the best cornerback. He had the best season of all time, probably the best 2 consecutive seasons of all time as a cornerback. That's why I gave him the edge. 4 over 5 is so close. Doesn't really matter, but that's why I gave Champ Bailey the edge. And I know the Super Bowl MVP thing really was tough for me. And I actually think if Von Miller had stuck around with the Broncos, he probably would have been ranked 3 or maybe even 2.
Weren't you at Super Bowl 48?
I was.
When Champ Bailey and you got dusted by the Seattle Seahawks and that damn Russell Wilson. Maybe that's why he had him ranked so high.
Champ Bailey was old by then. He was a has-been.
I'm totally with you. I can't have a logical, reasonable discussion when it comes to Champ Bailey. I can't do it. I'm with you. I believe in my heart he is the best cornerback to have ever played this game. Seeing where Pat Surtain is at right now, I didn't get to watch all of Champ Bailey's career. I was still a young guy coming up. I didn't know the value at all of a cornerback. Chad and I just had this conversation last week. I was like, dude, I was mad, legitimately mad that Mike Shanahan traded away Clinton Portis. I thought I knew better than Mike Shanahan. This guy needs to go. He's not with the times. The game has passed him by. Boy, did I not know anything. And my dad said, boy, just watch. And sure enough, man, like for me, Champ Bailey is the best cornerback to have ever lived. I don't know if it will always be that case. I hope that Pat Surtain gets up there in that conversation as well, as his trajectory at least looks to be so. But I'm with you, Tom. Champ's the GOAT. I can't go anywhere else. I wish so bad. I wish so. If you could have like 3 wishes, how about that? Maybe we should do that for a show before training camp starts. If you could have 3 wishes for your sports franchise, what would they have been? One of them for me has to be Champ Bailey getting a ring. It is criminal that man is the best corner. He came this close and he never got it. He was so close. Another would have to be off the top of my head, Mr. Bolin making it into the Hall of Fame while he was still alive. There's 2 out of my 3, right? I'll save my third and we'll save yours, Tom, for another day. But Champ's the GOAT. All right, Ralph. Don't screw that up.
And don't forget he got robbed of the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2006. He should have won that award. And they gave it to Jason Taylor, who had a great season. It wasn't the best edge season of all time. It wasn't in the top 5 of all time. He forced quite a few fumbles, had 16 sacks, but Champ Bailey that season was the greatest.
Jason Taylor had 16 sacks.
Yeah, that he won.
I thought you were talking about it. I thought you were talking about his sister for a second. My bad.
But anyway, back to Champ Bailey. Yeah, he should have won that Defensive Player of the Year award. And man, you're right though. The one thing that I wish he would have got a ring. And then going back to that trade, Luke, this is another thing that I'm going to say that I don't know if people are going to believe me or not, but had they not made that trade and Clinton Portis stayed in Shanahan's zone blocking system, he'd be getting a gold jacket here pretty soon. Wow,
man. That's a rare feat these days. And it'll be interesting now that you're talking about gold jackets. And I start thinking about gold jackets and the running backs. I think you're going to see less and less of that, at least for a time going into the Hall, because of where the times went ultimately with the offense. Maybe I guess, should there be a paradigm shift here because of one Saquon Barkley? The league is a copycat league. The league just figured out, wow, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you have an effective run game and a dominant defense, we could win some football games. We can win some championships. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles have cracked that code just a little bit, or reinvented it, or remixed it, whatever I got to say. I don't know, Tom. Maybe the league is out there looking for the next Saquon Barkley, the next versatile running back who can do not only the running style of old, but can catch the ball out of the backfield just as good as a wide receiver. That is what truly makes Saquon Barkley great to me. That and his ability, if he needs to pass block. I mean, the guy is pretty phenomenal. It's pretty clear why the Eagles won.
You also have to remember they have one of the best offensive lines in football too. I mean, that's a huge part of the running game is have a great offensive line. And we'll see how good this new running back mix with the Broncos and the offensive line work this year, because obviously it didn't work too well last year based on what we saw on the field and based on the stats and everything else. But yeah, you might be onto something, but at the same time, everybody knows that you get a Hall of Fame caliber running back. Great. You keep him around, you pay him money, not too long, but just good running backs, you don't pay them. You don't keep them around long-term because they have a short lifespan in the NFL.
Like Melvin Gordon, like Philip, seriously, like Melvin Gordon, like Philip. Hey, I'll go on the other side of that. How about Philip Lindsay? George Payton's like, I'm not paying for Philip Lindsay. And Phil went and had a very nice career on a couple other teams, with the Houston Texans, the Dolphins for a little stint, and the Indianapolis Colts. Right, he's doing his thing on the Denver airwaves as we speak. So I mean, you're right. You can't overcommit to a running back. And I think George saw that with what John did with Melvin Gordon, right, and the situation that he kind of inherited there. I'm happy. We didn't break the news, but we reacted to the story of the Broncos and what their new running back. I'm spacing his name right now. I'm totally spacing his name. The new free agent, Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins. Yeah. J.K. Dobbins, man, for me, the move, I'm getting happier and happier about it as the day goes on, because the room was too young. We talked about that at nauseum. Maybe you see something like that with an available free agent. I don't know what it would be like. I mean, the tight end room's pretty full. You only really want one fullback. Hey, we're going to have a punter competition too, right? Every year, Sean's bringing in a lefty, so that way we can have that damn return competition. We all know who the returner's going to be, don't we? He's a Pro Bowler. He's an All-Pro. Marvelous Marvin Mims. What kind of expectations do you have for Marvin Mims in 2025? Can he be much more than just a returner? We saw flashes, great flashes, bombs, highlight reels of Marvin Mims last year. I need it consistently on a week in, week out basis, Tom.
I think you can, because you saw him get better at what he needed to get better, I think, in the year. They learned how to use him and make sure he was involved, but you started to see a little bit more of a progression from him in the wide receiver position. It wasn't just go routes, and that's where he needs the improvement, is to be able to make sure he's getting off the line and having that full route tree available to him so that he can play, pretty much anywhere on the line. I think that's going to be a mix of using him kind of what they did last year, but also you're going to see him as that, I almost think as the number 2 wide receiver opposite Cortland Sutton, because, I mean, he's like Nick Benito to me. He's doing the things that he needs to do to get better from what I see. I'm not privy to everything, that's going on there, but it seems like he's doing what he's needed to do to get better. He has all those physical tools. He has, he's a little bit small, but he's fast. He's got the physical tools. And I think you're going to see him be more of a wide receiver, less of a gadget player, but still a pretty solid mix of both.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Sean likes Marvin Mims. I think Sean immediately identified Marvin Mims as, this guy has talent and I can do something with him. He's the aha guy for Sean Payton. Like, I can do something with you. I can use you in a way that other teams wouldn't, in a way that may be a new wrinkle to an antiquated offense, if you will, to some of the Sean Payton haters. I don't know, man. I'm okay with a few gadgets like you are within reason, but it can't be the primary function. What am I trying to say here? For the love of God, Sean, do not line Marvin Mims up as a running back anymore. We do not need to do that. We've got Quadzilla back there, RJ Harvey, right? You got J.K. Dobbins, Audric Estime. You want to have a little man back there? Well, you got one, Julian McLaughlin. All right, he's quick as hell. You can make it happen. I do not need Marvin Mims back there. I don't even like wide receiver reverses anymore, Tom. I mean, good Lord, a defensive end that's worth his salt should be there waiting, or at least a high safety. I mean, I don't want to see that. I want to see something new. Give me a new gadget. Give me a new wrinkle. Get creative with it. Have fun with it. I think maybe one of the reasons it took us a little while to see Marvin Mims find some success in Sean Payton's offense is because Sean is so demanding. He is so high maintenance. He doesn't even know what he wants, yet he expects these guys to know the world, right? That's what I want in my head coach. I want my head coach to keep these guys sharp. I want these guys on their toes. I want them a little bit nervous. I want them a little bit grouchy. I want him to feel the pressure, because if he can emulate that sort of environment in the weight room, in the film room, in the facility, and on the practice fields this summer at a training camp coming near you, then the rest of this should be a familiar feeling. What is the rest of this? The regular season and getting into the playoffs. I don't know, man. There was a time where Marvin Mims would take a running back handoff, and I'd be like, this guy's not Deebo Samuel. Have you seen Deebo Samuel? Deebo Samuel looking a little different these days, at least looking on social media. I can't call it, Tom. I got some people being like, Deebo's so out of shape. I saw a picture of Deebo the other day. Homeboy looks like he's juicing. I'm like, dude, you see the biceps? He's got Michael Pittman biceps on him.
Yeah, yeah, he's a big dude, and it's a different. You can't compare Mims with him. It's a different body style, yes, and I think he might be a little bit more of a playmaker, maybe. I'm not sure. I mean,
Marvin
I know
Mims
can be
more of a playmaker.
No, I'm talking about Deebo Samuel in different.
Not
gadgets,
anymore.
You know? Yeah, now he can. He's too big, but
he's too bulky. Yeah, he got too.
He's like, a little bit more experience.
LeBron. It's like LeBron, right? Like, remember when LeBron got super beefed up in Miami, and then he couldn't hang with the Dallas Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki. His muscle, those big muscles. What do they require? Oxygen. What'd LeBron do? He stopped lifting so damn much, got calisthenics, and now he's not this roided up monster that he used to look like, man. I mean, I think you're right. They're two different players, but they need to be utilized in different ways as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to Mims' season. I mean, there's a couple guys I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Benito's season. I'm looking forward to Mims' season. These are two players that I think are going to keep ascending, and people are going to be pleasantly surprised with their production. It's not a flash in the pan type of thing. They're going to be very good contributors next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing their two seasons.
Oh, Ralph, you're so ornery. I love it. Deebo looking like Jamal in Black Hawk. Man, you guys get me in trouble on this show. I absolutely love it. Guys, 2-minute warning. Final 2 minutes to get to us here on your Wednesday night. Tom and I are back in the saddle, and we're ready to rock and roll with you through this Broncos camp. A lot of fun camp battles, a lot of camp storylines. Things are so, what do I want to say? They can feel random at training camp. What do I mean by that? Each day is truly another day. You rarely see the same day twice with a Sean Payton training camp. I asked Chad this last week. I'd like to ask you, what does a Sean Payton 2025 training camp look like? Apparently, there were limited tickets again, Tom, because of reconstruction out there. And the Broncos, as you know, needed an update, at least for their fan experience. And the Walton Penner ownership will spare no expense. I put my tinfoil hat on, the one that I keep right next to my desktop here on MHI every Wednesday night. I put that on just like I did last year. When coach is like, oh, well, fire code, we can't have so many people. And this year, oh, well, we can't have a lot of people because we're remodeling. Coach doesn't want a lot of people out there. Coach doesn't want people recording, taking pictures. I've gotten in trouble doing it. You've been there. I don't know, Tom. I think it's another Sean Payton wrinkle of some of that old Mike Shanahan paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate because the tickets go fast. It's hard for some people. I mean, people just buy them up and not buy them, but they get in there and select them up. So it is a bit of a bummer for people that really want to go that, get one ticket. So I don't really care for that. I think his training camp might be a little bit different than we've seen because he's finally got that team, molded in what he wanted. You got a lot of leaders. You got everybody kind of focused on that same goal. He got rid of the players he needed to get rid of and brought in the players that he needed to. So you might see a little bit more fun, a little bit more relaxed training camp, maybe a little bit more days off here and there, because I think he understands that He doesn't have to be that, dictator type who really had to push that team when he first came onto, as a head coach, because you had a lot of complacency, a lot of losing mentality, and I think that's gone.
And it's been instilled and passed the torch, the expectations to the leaders. This is Bo's team. This is Pastor Tan's team. Yeah, this is Nick Benito's team. This is their Quinn Miners. This is Quinn Miners' team. I mean, these guys are going to be setting the expectation, and that's what's exciting. You know what I want to see in training camp? It's the only thing I really want to see every training camp. I'm here for the drama, and I'm here for the fights. I want to see Marquette King, the punter, going at a radio guy on the sideline. I want to see Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton throwing water bottles at each other. All right. I want to see that sort of action. I want to see Bradley Chubb and Garrett Bowles mixing it up, right? Like, some of those things are funny. They're little entertaining anecdotes, but I think the Broncos are really going to do something special, and it's going to be awesome to cover it with you this summer. Tom, it's been a very fun show. Guys, head on over to milehighhuddle.com. Check out all of our latest, including one of Tom's articles on Ingram right now. Could the Broncos tight end be a major upgrade for Sean Payton's offense? Read about it over at milehighhuddle.com. Chad Jensen, Zach Kelberman, Eric Trickle, all of our guys, Keith Cummings, Nick Kendall, have articles up and running. Head on over to the mothership at Mile High Huddle over on X. Give us a follow as well at MHI_pod. You can reach out to Tom at Thomas Hall NFL. Yours truly at Luke Patterson LP. Do not forget, head on over to gridironintelligence.com. Sign up right now. Easy to understand football analytics. Power your football IQ. Tom, another fun show, man. Super pumped to be back. Let's get it next week.
Yeah, it's been great, man. I've missed you. I missed your Musk.
Who hasn't, baby? Who hasn't? I've missed you as well, man. I miss Broncos country, and this is what we do. We ride together. Broncos country into training camp. This is the way.
This is the way.